Hi guys, so today we're going to be trying something a little bit different. I've had a little break from doing robot-y stuff because I've been working on other projects such as this pulse rifle from Aliens. I bought a load of like props for film guns a little while ago, and they've built up, and they've been sat there for ages, and I finally got around to doing them, and they've taken a lot longer than I thought they would, and they're huge. So I had no room to build robots for a little bit, but that's fine. We can take a little break. That's fine. Anyway, in doing so, I had to obviously paint these guns. And then add some sort of weathering and some dry brushing and stuff, and learn a few little techniques like that. And then while I was sitting here one day, sort of having a little brush and stuff, I looked across and I saw one of my little Hexbugs. I saw a little Bite Force, and I thought, I can have a little go on that one. And I was really pleased with the result. It's got like just sort of nice little chrome sort of scrapings around there, and just sort of made the whole thing look a little bit more battered and stuff. And I put that on Facebook, and a lot of people quite liked it. A few people sort of expressed interest in a video, so this is that video. And I thought, well, how am I going to show this? Fortunately, I've got another Bite Force hanging around, obviously, so I'm going to paint that one up and sort of show you a couple of the techniques I've used. And I've also bought a little Minotaur, because I thought I was going to do another. I thought I was rummaging through thinking, oh, what can I dry brush next? Minotaur, I didn't have a Minotaur left. I'd used them all up on various builds, and I was like, that was one of my favourite robots, so I was like, oh, I want a little Minotaur, so I'm just going to make this one purely a good looking Minotaur. Okay, so the paint I'm going to be using for this is this chrome B35 in a stupid voice, Valspar product enamel. I found it A, looks the best, and B, it dries incredibly quickly, which is fantastic. Obviously we're doing dry brushing here anyway, so it's going to be drying even quicker than usual, but yes, it makes it kind of super handy if you're impatient like I am. Right, so here's the one we did previously, so we're going to put that to one side, and we've got a fresh one here. And then we've also got our little Minotaur, and I've already gone ahead, I took the drum out, painted it up yellow, so that's looking pretty good already, I think. But yeah, so let's get started, mix up our paint. I've got some black here as well, just to kind of highlight some of the details on here, because these models are fantastic. They're very well detailed with the little rivet heads and all this sort of stuff, or bolt heads probably. But yeah, obviously give them a little bit of a brush over really sort of makes them pop a bit more. So okay, so we've mixed up our paint. I'm going to get a tiny little bit on the brush here, and we're going to basically make it so we've got barely any on here. And the kind of key to all of this is in the name. It's dry brushing. So we want this brush to be almost void of anything, almost void of paint. So there we can see we've got barely any going on there, because this is on the darker parts, this is going to show up quite a lot. Let's move this over here. God, right. So we're going to take our Bite Force, and first we're going to do the wedgelet. So we've got to think about where we're actually going to get scratching and damage. It's not just sort of slapping it on anywhere. So you think straight away, the wedges, they're corners, they're scraping on the floor, they're going to have other robots scraping up onto them, so that's where we're going to start applying just little flicks and stuff like that, just to get that going. Wow, that looks terrible, there's nothing coming off. Right, let's try the brush again, let's mix up the paint a bit more. For fuck's sake. Sounded like I knew what I was on about anyway. Right, okay, so we've got a bit more paint. Oh Jesus, that's a bit too much. Okay, here is where I've done exactly what I was about to give some advice not to do, and you've got to be patient and make sure the brush is definitely dry, because there I've used it a little bit too much. We can pass it off as kind of like one of the bigger scratches, as it were, but we're going for a general all-round sort of roughed up look. So let's clean off that brush a little bit more. Try that again. That's a bit better, yeah. And like I say, yeah, the point I was going to make is we do not want too much silver on a brush, or otherwise you're just going to paint Bite Force silver, which, admittedly, cool though that might look, is not the look that we're going for here. So yeah, we want to keep that here. So I'm going to do a few bits on the corner here as well. And it's important to remember as well that the darker the colour, the more obviously the chrome will show up. When I get onto Minotaur, I'm going to be very careful, because that's a matte black, so that's going to yeah, probably show up quite well. So the weapon, again, Bite Force spins upwards with its weapon bar, as most of the verticals do. Where's the focus gone? There we go. Near enough. So we want to do, again, more weathering or more paint chipping on the side that's going to be hitting upwards. So that side, and then this side as well. A little dab more paint, I think, on that one. And again, here is like a high impact zone, so you can go a little bit more crazy with it, as it were. And also down this edge. Okay, next up we're going to be sort of doing some black on the sort of main body. Again, this is sort of going to look like scratches and stuff, but it's harder to justify on a Battlebot, but it's sort of going to look a bit like sort of grime and wear and tear. Generally, I wouldn't say they actually look too much like this, but the silver doesn't show up that well on this shell I found before, so we're going to go with a black, and again just sort of do some subtle bits just to pick out some highlights. Okay, subtle testing area underneath, a bit too much. So we're going to wipe even more of this out so we've got barely anything showing. There we go, let's try that. That's more like it. So yeah, I'm just going to do very light little brushes here, just on the edges, just to sort of highlight those. I guess these little sort of scuffs and scrapes could have occurred when the robot's being bashed around. So yeah, this sort of looks kind of like a kind of dullness under, I suppose, of when the robot's been thrown around a little bit. And again, important not to go overboard. You know, you don't want just a black bite force. Okay, now we're moving on to Minotaur. And like I say, we're going to have to be really subtle. What I'm actually going to do is do a little sort of tester on this panel, because I've still got a few spares of this panel floating around. So yeah, I'm not sure about this already, although it kind of is showing a little bit of scuffing around there. It's sort of got a bit of chrome off spots, and maybe we'll have to sort of go in a bit more precise with some of these. And the reason I'm doing it around these as well is because you'd be constantly undoing and doing up these bolts, so inevitably the paint's going to scratch. Alright, here we go. Let's start on the underside so we can get a sort of idea. Like I say, I want to be really subtle with this, just give it a little bit of an edge, just so it looks like it's maybe been in a battle or two. Sorry, not actually on camera there. Without fully making it look like it's been beaten shitless. Okay, so done that a little bit on here, and I'm pretty pleased with how that looks. I've done sort of a little bit on the weapon again, paying attention to what way the weapon spins, so it looks like it's had lots of impacts to sort of chip upwards there, and sort of to a lesser extent on the sort of counterweight to the main tooth. I've gone a little bit overboard on the forks, they're kind of a bit of a shiny white there, but never mind. And yeah, again, the detail on the models of the sort of shapes there is sort of lost a little bit in the matte black, so I've tried to just sort of do a little bit over those main lines, as it were, just to highlight those a little bit more. And again, sort of on edges like the back there and the corners and the sides, sort of just really give, you know, go a little bit crazier, as it were, without obviously going overboard, just to sort of show where it would have landed, where from flips and impacts and other weapons would have contacted. So yeah, there we go, nice sort of subtle little one there on Minotaur. And there we are, all finished. This light absolutely bleaching that and making it look like I've done nothing at all. Have a look at these photos instead. So yeah, this is just my little kind of dabble into Bob Ross, I suppose. Hopefully you picked up some techniques in this, or just enjoy what I've done with them. Yeah, thanks a lot guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Double thumbs up, friends, apparently. What is up with this tripod?